Taylor. I am a business analyst for Step Change and Safety, and I've been working with Moira Lamb and Rebecca Morrison from Oil and Gas UK to create this presentation around the challenges for the next generation as a result of the Piper Alpha disaster. Before I begin, I should outline that the fire exit is right behind me, nice and well marked, and the fire alarm was to go off. Follow me because I'll be out there first. Now, the challenge for the next generation is a very difficult thing to try and talk about and trying to present, because there's so many things that changed in the last 25 years since Piper Alpha. So much has changed in terms of competency, training, control of work, complacency. All these 6 C's that you see around me and that you would have seen this morning in the Remembering Piper DVD has created a different environment, a different industry from that of 25 years ago. So, although the legacy of Piper Alpha will never be forgotten, the challenge for the next generation is to know where we're going in terms of where we've come from. To instill in the younger people coming into the industry why we do what we do. The structure of this presentation, as I've mentioned, is going to be around the 6 C's and how, in the case of Piper Alpha, these barriers were not in place and the consequences of that. It's important to state that these 6 barriers, in the case of Piper Alpha, were not done in isolation to each other. I'm going to use the barrier model over here on my right hand side to show how when each barrier is removed, the structure becomes weaker and weaker. We'll see what happens after it's all removed. So, who are the next generation? You lot. Everybody sitting in this room represents the next generation of workforce, regardless of age, regardless of what you do or where you do it. We're continuously learning from each other to create a new generation of competency, of commitment, of culture, all the time. This is going to be an interactive session. So although I'm giving specific examples from Piper Alpha and what went wrong and the Lord Cullen recommendation as a result of it, please by all means chip in any personal experiences you've had so we can all learn from each other. I'll begin with control of work.
The platform had 2 large pumps, A and B, which pressurized the gas and sent it onto shore. Pump A had been taken out of service that morning and a pressure valve removed from it for servicing. The open pipe was temporarily sealed with a metal plate. The pressure valve was meant to be replaced by the end of the day, but the job overran.
All right, lads, pack it up. We're not running over here. I'll have to finish in the morning, I guess.
The engineer in charge filled out the permit to work form, which let everyone know that the pump was out of action and couldn't be used. In fact, 2 permits had been taken out that morning for the pump. One was for the work on the pressure valve, the other for a routine overhaul, which would last 2 weeks but hadn't yet begun. The 2 permits became separated. When work finished for the day, the engineer returned the permit for the pressure valve to the control room. Finding the supervisor busy, he signed off the permit to work. He failed to inform the supervisor that the valve was off the pump and went off shift. No one knows what became of the permit for the pressure valve.
The barrier that failed in terms of control of work during Piper Alpha was summarised in the last few seconds. He failed to inform his supervisor about the permit. Ask a volunteer now to take out the first one. As a result of this failure of control of work, Lord Cullen recommended that the permit to work system become a legal requirement, and control of work offshore become a legal requirement. For those of you that work offshore, I'm sure you'll all love and appreciate the permit to work system. And as the Lord Cullen recommendation outlines, that everybody on board can see exactly the nature of the permit to work, the work that's going on, the safety critical work that's going on, where it is, and where to avoid, or where they can or can't operate that day. As I said, I'm sure working offshore you all know and love the permit to work system, but it's the young people coming offshore who think, oh, permit to work, oh, not this again. But it's crucial to remind them why we do what we do. Piper Alpha, the permit to work on the roller work system failed. The first barrier is down. The structure's in place, it's weaker, but it's still there. Move on to complacency. An example of complacency in terms of Piper Alpha can be seen in the risk that was taken by Occidental by not implementing any of the recommendations that was given to them 2 years previously by the Energy Consultancy Services report. This report, again 2 years prior to the incident, outlined that pipelines, in particular the gas pipelines, would take hours to depressurise due to their capacity. On top of that, it could result, did result, in a high pressure gas fire in Celadon, which would be virtually impossible to fight. The report goes on to state that structural integrity would be lost within 10 to 15 minutes should a fire be fed from a large pressurised hydrocarbon inventory. It took 22 minutes. Lord Cullen's investigation outlined the general opinion on Piper Alpha that the probability of such a catastrophic event was so low that it was considered that it wouldn't happen. It was not considered that there would be a situation where every single barrier would fail. Complacency barrier failed. By show of hands here, how many people in this room can say that they genuinely ask themselves before undertaking any hazardous work, what's the worst that could happen? Dr. Pepper moment. And it's that level of complacency that we need to instill into the next generation, and that's the challenge. Let them think, what is the worst that could happen? Yes, Piper Alpha was a once-in-a-lifetime event. That's one too many. As a result of this, Lord Cullen implemented a safety case system, whereby everything on board is in the safety case. Everything you need to know about that rig at any time is in the safety case. This led to a shift, a systematic approach, to a shift in the safety attitude offshore, the safety principles, where there's goals set and they're using the as low as reasonably practical system or alarm system. This has challenged the complacency attitude that was evident 25 years ago, and that is why this goal setting principle is used today. Moving on to communication.
Piper's emergency procedures simply collapsed. Control was centered around the rig's manager, who was supposed to coordinate firefighting and evacuation from the radio room.
Put out a mayday.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. Explosion and fire on the oil rig, on the platform, and we're abandoning the rig.
But the radio room itself was damaged, and it appears that no attempt was made to use the public address system.
There's a fire blocking. Mayday, mayday, mayday. We're abandoning the radio room. We're abandoning the radio room.
Transcripts of the maydays reveal that no indication was given to the emergency services of how the rig was to be abandoned. Worse still, no one told the men on board what to do.
Reflect on that. Nobody told the men on board what to do. At the beginning of this presentation, I told you that in the event of a fire alarm, we should all go out there and we should all stay there. If we applied that same principle 25 years ago at Piper Alpha, we would have been amongst the 81 men who were killed in the accommodation block by doing what they were told to do. Communication is arguably at the centre of every single industry, especially in a major hazard industry such as the one we all work in. This lack of communication in the case of Piper Alpha led to Lord Cullen recommending that there should be a fail-safe principle applied to all communication, whereby if everything else fails, if all the barriers are removed, communication barrier, there is some way of communicating to every single person on board that tell them what to do, how to do it, whether it be evacuate, abandon, whatever. There's a system in place, barriers in place, which wasn't there in Piper Alpha. As I said, 81 men were killed in the accommodation block of Piper Alpha because they didn't know what to do. All that they knew was what they'd been trained to do. In terms of competency, I'm going to use the example of the OIM. The OIM that we know and love today is drastically different from the OIMs that were about 25 years ago. The level of training and competency nowadays is polar opposite of what was available to the OIMs 25 years ago, and indeed the system failed the OIMs 25 years ago. That's the thing. Competency barrier. Lord Cullen report states that, due to the remoteness of installations, the requirement of installations to be self-contained in the means of dealing with a rapidly developing incident, the need to obtain, verify and consider data communicated to the OIM from various sources for immediate action from which the lives of those on board depend, demands a level of command ability which is not a normal feature of management posts. The PETO standards that have recently been published for the review of the standards for OIMs offshore has completely changed the nature of competency, particularly in OIMs. Through training, through assessment, they're continuously tasked to test themselves to create a robust system nowadays for the competency of OIMs. This led to Lord Cullen recommending that there should be a system in place whereby emergency exercises can be practiced by OIMs. Training facilities all over Aberdeen are scattered with these courses to test the OIMs, to test their abilities, to test their command in emergency situations, which wasn't in place in terms of the Big Brother. In terms of culture offshore, it's drastically different to what we know it as now.
To prevent this backflow of oil, it was vital that the two other rigs stopped pumping immediately. 22 miles away, Claymore heard the first mayday.
You trying paper?
Communications between the platforms had been knocked out in the explosion, yet the manager of Claymore continued to pump oil, believing that the situation was most likely under control.
We just got a second mayday. It's a big explosion. They might have lost the radio room and all.
Stand by vessel Nautica. Proceed to Piper. See if there's anything they need.
The manager tried to contact Occidental's control center on shore, meanwhile continuing oil production.
There's been an explosion on Piper and there's a fire on the west side. There's a lot of black smoke blowing over the heli deck.
It sounds like an oil fire. Look, if it's a big one, Piper's lines are going to fail. I think we should shut down.
Has Piper shut down?
Yeah, they have.
How's the pressure on the line?
Yeah, it's holding up all right.
Don't shut down.
Meanwhile, the Tartan rig, only 12 miles away, in spite of hearing the maydays and seeing flames on the horizon, also continued to pump oil. The manager had received approval for this decision from his superior in Aberdeen.
You can see the bloody fire from here. We really should shut down right now.
Their fire pumps should be coping. I'm still trying to reach the centre.
Look, they just told us there's men in the water. They've abandoned the bloody rig. What more do you want?
ECC, do you read? This is Claymore, over.
Although he repeatedly asked to shut down, the operator deferred to the seniority of his manager, and the oil continued to flow.
It seems crazy to think that that situation was allowed to have happened. That's a testament to culture 25 years ago, safety offshore. Culture 25 years ago was very much production over people, which again seems like a crazy thing to say given that the industry we work in now, the culture we have now is drastically different. And the challenge for the next generation is again to understand why. This led to this specific example, the recommendation from Lord Cullen that if there is ever doubt whether or not to press that big red button for other oil rigs, for other places connected to somewhere where an emergency situation is happening, there's no question. The recommendation suggests that the authority and the culture change on the rigs in question, whereby they're able to press the big red button without facing any consequences on shore. As you can see, the culture barrier is not in place. And again, the structure overall here is still standing, significantly weaker than when I started 15 minutes ago. And finally, commitment. I'm not going to use an example from Piper Alpha here because I believe that commitment to safety should be proactive and not a reactive thing. I work for Step Change in Safety. Step Change's commitment is to work together with industry to continuously improve our safety performances. My personal commitment to safety is to ensure the safety of myself and all those around me. What's your Ask yourself, what do you do at an individual level, the management level, company level and a regulator level that you are committed to safety? In terms of Piper Alpha, commitment wasn't there from anybody involved. Commitment's gone. Structure collapses. I'm not going to ask you these questions again because I'm sure you've asked yourself them this morning watching the DVD. So have time to reflect on them. The barriers have failed in the case of Piper Alpha. The challenges going forward is to remember why they failed and what we do now and why we do it. As I said, with the permit to work system, it's so easy to think, oh, it's just another silly thing in practice, or it's just another one of those safety things. This is why we do it. If you ask yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen? Think of this. That's the worst thing that could have happened with Piper Alpha, as it happened. So much has changed in the last 25 years in terms of the industry. We have so many new initiatives with the Expo No Leaks, with Petrofac's controlled work, joined up thinking, workforce engagement, and there's going to be plenty more, I'm quite sure, to come in the future. But you have to remember that 167 men lost their lives so that we can learn to be better. And the challenge going forward for the next generation is quite simply to remember. So if you have any questions, I'm happy